Good morning, this is Brad, Bigfoot Running. It is early Wednesday morning, and the topic of today's video is how much is enough? How much is enough? My favorite source of information for this type of thing over the years has been a podcast called The Science of Ultra. Is today going to be more damaging than helpful? When do you start training the mind? And it's more about the mind than the body.
How much running and how much overall exercise training should you be doing to prepare yourself for ultramarathons or other major endurance adventures? I've melded my own coaching experience with what other respected coaches have written on this subject to arrive at a rough guide, a very rough guide. For a 50K, we're looking for 30 miles per week to finish the race and more than 50 miles per week to perform well for at least 3 weeks before your taper. For a 50-mile or 100K race, we're looking for 40 miles per week of training just to finish and more than 60 miles per week to perform well for at least 5 weeks before your taper. And for a 100-mile race, we're looking for 50 miles per week to just finish and more than 70 miles per week to perform well for at least 6 weeks before your taper. This is a very rough guide. It assumes that you'll also be getting the majority of your running over terrain similar to your event during those peak weeks.
How much is enough? It's a question I often find myself asking. Have I done enough? Maybe one more. In the past, I have tended to run myself into injuries, and then the injury tells me that's enough, and then I rest, and then I go back and I pile it on again and get injured, and it goes through a bit of a cycle. This year, I've done a bit better than that. I've reached a certain level, plateaued, found that comfortable, and then increased the mileage. How much is enough? Anyway, that's the question I'm asking myself today as I probably head out the door overdoing it a little bit. Running an ultramarathon is kind of an exercise on overdoing it in some ways, but there is a science to it. So I'm going to head out the door. We're going to leave Buddy at home today, reluctantly. So yeah, how much is enough? Tell me what you think in the comment section. How are you applying your training? When do you know when it's enough? Are you like me? Do you just wait until you get injured and then have a forced break? Or do you have a bit more of a scientific plan? I'm trying to do that this year, and I have avoided a lot of injury by, instead of constantly ramping up the mileage, reaching a level where I'm comfortable, staying there for a while, and then when I feel like that's easy, pushing it. So having some 70K weeks, some 80K weeks, then 90, and now recently into the hundreds. I do feel like I'm pushing it, but I definitely want to stand on the start line for the Heysen knowing I've given everything in my training. So yeah, how much is enough? Let's go. Buddy really wants to come this morning. He's even doing his stretches. Sorry, mate, you're not coming today. So I'm glad I pushed myself out the door this morning. I do miss having Buddy with me, but it's a whole different story when you're not totally conscious of him jumping in every truck and being a menace. I'm going to listen to a podcast and just relax a bit on this one. Feels like I'm cruising today. Yeah, I miss being with Buddy, but I tell you what, it's a lot easier without a cannonball on a leash. Hopefully he's enjoyed a good sleeping today though. Alright, that's enough for this morning. Got it in. Have a great Wednesday. Bigfoot Running signing out.
2 months, 14 days and 16 hours.
Quiet, he's gonna say something.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.